VCE methods problem solving tips.
So you learn all these equations, right? And it all goes well enough when you're doing your chapter sections because each chapter section only really contains one or two new equations to work with. Then you get to the SAC and it all falls apart. Why? Well, it's because you're only ever used to using those equations in those specific chapter sections. So how do we fix this? I see our job as essentially trying to figure out how we can use the equations we know to bridge all the important parts of the question together. For example, if we get a question like this to find a, the first thing I'm doing is looking for where that a is. In this case, it's in our function, f of x. Next, I'm looking at what kind of supporting information I have. In this case, I have the x location of a stationary point. My goal is to think about how this information might be relevant to our function f of x. So here's my notes from the VCE methods vault. Stationary points are points where the gradient is 0 and can always be found by finding the derivative and setting it equal to 0. So let's do that. Now we've done our derivative, we have a spot to substitute that gradient of 0 and the x value of 3. If we look at what we've created, it's an equation that only has a in it. So all that's left to do is solve for a. So to summarize, start by looking at what the question is specifically asking. From there, look at all the supporting pieces of information and try to think about what equations you have access to that can link all of those supporting pieces of information together. And hey, if you don't want to do this process for every single question in methods, the good news is I've already done it for you. I've written guides like this for all the key questions that come up in methods, and I've compiled them into one suite of resources that you can grab a copy of on my website. The link is in the comments.